So my name is Daniel. I've been working in government for the last 11 years. Before doing this job, I was part of the Buenos Aires city government as a head of technology. And we built a huge interest platform, and I've been in this role for the last 3.5 years. I'm from Argentina. Anyone knows Argentina? Besides Messi, Ginobili, some basketball, some wine. So we are a country far, far away, like 16 hours flight. We have 44 million people. 32% of those citizens live in poverty. We got a federal government, 24 states, 2,100 local governments. It's similar to the US, where us from the federal level, we got our rules, but the states got their independence and the local governments got their independence. And we got a public and education system that is free for citizens. And it's run from state side or local side. And going from the city to the national level, at the first we thought it was going to be easy. It didn't. It was so hard. It was not taking what we have done in the city when we got unlimited resources and just plugged in a national law. And what we learned out there, and I'm going to talk about this here, it's about time. Because when you work in government, you think that the limited resource you got is political power, it's money, it's human resources. But what you're missing and what you're running out of is time. And that time and understanding that makes you shape a different strategy on how you should do things. Because 2 days ago, for me, it was like 10th of December of 2015, taking the office. And we got elections in October of this year. So when we took the office, we thought our enemy was fighting against fragmentation, right? 3.5 years ago, we got more than 700 websites, no digital strategy, a lot of vendors, a lot of government egos trying to do this shiny, beautiful thing just to get me in the media because, let's do an app, it's going to be easy. And so that was the strategy. I always tell the same thing. We compare free websites. It was like a how to do things in government guide. And if you see one service, both free services were explained in different ways and wrong. No one was right. So we thought that was our fight to take. But when you work in government, and you're going to feel this with me, is that this is the real fight in government. And I'm going to talk about products. But this is about, missing time. Someone is building the same thing you're building inside your organization all the time. And you're going to get to decide if you're going to build better, or you're going to build fast, if you're going to deliver, or you're going to get mixed in what it happened to us, to me, that we get mixed in our egos, so we took what we did in the city of Buenos Aires and we rebuilt it from scratch. So we lose time, and we launch late into the almost second year of our term, which is, in some part, hard to do that. So when we did that, we started building a website. It's called argentina.gov.ar, where we basically integrate 700 websites on one platform. We centralize technology and we decentralize content. So we work with different government areas, teaching them how to create content inside the internet and killing government egos. No one got their website anymore, and you see this in examples like GovUK or Peru or Mexico, and trying to integrate things. We built on our Drupal distro that we built in the city of Buenos Aires, so we took the open source technology and we implemented, and now we are serving like 7 million users every month. And after getting that platform in place, we started creating content relevant for the users. Because when government doesn't do the job as it should, you lose being the reference in the internet. Most of our citizens go into any blog post, in any user experience to learn how to do things with government. I know it happens in Argentina. I know it should happen in the US, in the UK. It's happening in the UK. It's someone trying to help citizens how to do things with the government. So we start creating relevant content for citizens. For example, our Secretary of Health, because it was the national level, didn't speak to citizens. He used to speak to other states or basically to the health system, but not to the end user. So we start creating different websites, how to create, blood donation, HIV, first aid, and different content that helps citizens to go through. And I could stop here and say that we create a website and we basically got all the administration now in our platform using our services. And we got more than 25,000 page creating in 3 years with new content written for the users. But for us, doing a website and centralizing was part of the first experience in the city. And when we get to the national level, we wanted more because internet had changed so much in the last 11 years that we weren't, wanting to stay with our website. So thinking of the time we got left, we went through this concept. There is Internet of Me. It's got to be on how government needs to learn on how internet has grown and gone forward and how this is happening. I took this picture 2 weeks ago in New York City. So basically, government thinks that all of us should be seeing the painting and us want to get a selfie with the painting. So for us working in government, understanding that our ego is not important and we should build what citizens are looking for is game-changing because we should build websites. So our next stage is customizing my government experience. So we create something called My Argentina. My Argentina is a citizen dashboard where citizens can log in and access to their centralized information. And we're going to go forward now seeing some products. First of all, we build a single sign-on based on OpenID Connect, which is an open source, a kind of one ID to rule them all. Of course, we're competing with our other IDs inside the same administration because they cooperate. We build an API gateway similar on what Estonia has done to connect everything government to our dashboard. Also, we are competing with another API inside the administration, but we're getting integrated. And we integrate it to our national ID record using a biometrical validation through our phone to validate identity. And this got to be because you got to give your discussion with the lawyers about who's accessing to information. And there was no other way to access and give health records if we cannot validate users, that the user is the user. So this year, we launched this. We took our driving license, and in 60 days, we make it legal in the phone. How? By basically taking the office that runs national driving licenses and telling them we're going to do this from November till January. We just work on the technology. We create 2 APIs, 2 mobile apps. One was our mobile app for My Argentina, new version, and one app for the traffic inspectors. At the end of the day, we just create a tiny little step of regulation that says that the physical has the same value that the digital version. And we impact into 19 million users. What gave us this? Power in the site administration to do more things. So in some weeks now, we are launching all the freight documentation for the logistics system. Truck drivers in Argentina, they move with a lot of papers in trucks, and if they lose them, they need to do it again with government. So what we're doing is we bring in all those documentations inside the phone. We're launching vaccines, so you can, and that's the first step for medical records. We're sending emails saying happy birthday. You need to get your flu vaccine because you are 65 years old. We send the reminders that your driving license is expiring. And this is all trying to reduce the friction we got with government about the anxiety that, I need to do something again, because government can be cool, but we're not cool. People, they don't come to us because they want to see a movie or pick some food or get a date. And on the other side of the services, then we start working on this concept of empathy, trying to think and divide services, asking if it hurts to the citizen or not. Because this is something that I have learned working in the federal level about, technology could be cold and far away and so easy that let's do an app. But working and building empathy on being a public servant and understanding that our role is to, make things more easy is huge. And a great example for that is the disability certificate. In Argentina, this certificate is printed in paper, which is, it's not common paper. It's the paper where you print the money, the notes. So it got legal status, and if you lose it, you need to go through all the process again, including the medical board. So that, and getting a disability certificate is a painful moment for anyone, even it's for you, for your family, for your kids. So it's not a happy moment. So our role is to reduce that friction so that we can help you go through that shitty moment easier, no better. And through empathy, then we start working with maternal and infant mortality in Argentina. These are some numbers. 33% of the women doesn't get at least 5 controls during pregnancy, and 6.9, they got their first contact with the public system of health at the moment of childbirth. We are a developing country, 32% of poverty. So we can increase, if we increase those controls, we can reduce the 60% of those risks, So we went to the Secretary of Health 3 years ago, and they got the crazy idea of sending some emails to women in a huge, we got the emails. It's like, font type 70 Comic Sans, just screaming people saying why you didn't go to your control. So our UX team get inside. We went during 6 months, seeing different first attention centers in Argentina, trying to understand how women interact. 70% of our mobile phones are prepaid, so SMS was not an option, but everyone used Facebook. And government not being cool, the barrier of getting an app, because just let's build an app, or getting into a channel like Facebook Messenger, it paid more off, at the end, paid Facebook Messenger, because it was easier not to engage people on downloading an app. So we built a virtual assistant for pregnancy and early childhood. This assistant accompanies women during pregnancy and early childhood. It sends you personalized information and reminds you of going to the prenatal checkups. Basically, it sends you a message the day before, during the day, and the day after, trying to engage on how you're doing. We send information to women because most of them, they got no idea what's going to go through the controls. And we learned from the Mexican government that they got a similar project doing the same things, that they used to ask women how do they feel. So we started asking them, how do you feel today? And we start record that and trying to see if they were good, bad. But we didn't want it to do this just, we did a virtual assistant and just throw it to the internet. We decided to do a health impact assessment. So we took a single town in Argentina where the infant mortality is 12.6 infant mortality in the US, it's 5.7. Okay? So 12.6 is the double of what's happening in the US. And we work using digital tutors going to the health centers, teaching women how to enroll using the messenger. And the output of that is now we got 1 out of 3 women using the bot. We're expanding nationwide. Along with the Secretary of Health, we are publishing a scientific article where we have measured that the women using the tool have more controls than the women that don't, and that they arrive early to the health system before the week 13. So with this tool measure, we won a Webby 2 weeks ago. For those who don't know, Webby is like the most important. Yes, thank you. We won a Webby because this is a health policy outside the health system. Usually, the health system is sitting into hospital waiting for citizens to come to the hospitals. It's a personalized tool. It's easy to scale and to replicate in any country. And it's changed on what users need, on creating content all the time on what users are asking for. But this is just ego, and it's not good. The real thing, and as I like to say, the real MVP, are those. When we ask them during the week 39 or 40 if your child was born, some of them send us pictures. Tell me if you don't like working in government. So, for closing, I got like 2 minutes. The best advice I can give you after 3 years working in government at this level, the best advice I can give you when you think everything is down, you're not comfortable with what you're doing, you're out of focus of the strategy, and everything is that doing beats everything. So thank you so much.